They say beauty is power, but in the small town of Umuola, beauty was a trap. At the center of town stood a salon everyone talked about, Glamour Touch by Chiamaka. It wasn't just a salon. It was a place where women went in ordinary and came out glowing like goddesses. Their faces brighter, their hair silkier, their confidence unshakable. From the outside, the salon looked harmless. Pink-painted walls, glittering mirrors, and a small signboard that read, "Perfection is our promise." But those who had eyes could tell something wasn't right. Every morning, the sweet smell of relaxer and coconut oil filled the air as women queued in front of Chiamaka's shop, whispering praises of her magical hands. "Once she touches your hair, men will follow you like bees. She's the best in the whole of Enugu state." But what they didn't know was that Chiamaka's hands didn't just style hair. They harvested glory. The woman behind the mirror. Chiamaka was beautiful. Too beautiful to be normal. Her skin was smooth like she bathed in milk. Her lips always shone red, and her long eyelashes framed eyes that never blinked long enough. She was always dressed in pure white lace and gold bangles that jingled softly when she moved. She walked with a calmness that made people uneasy. Nobody knew where she came from. She just appeared one day, rented a small shop, and within a year, her salon became the most popular in the entire region. She hardly spoke, and when she smiled, it was the kind that didn't touch her eyes. Every chair in her salon faced a mirror, and not just one mirror, but many. The walls, the ceiling, even the floor had reflections. It was like sitting inside a world of glass where your image never stopped looking back at you. Her assistants were always silent, moving like shadows, and no one ever saw them outside the salon. Adizi's visit. One hot Thursday afternoon, Adiz, a 22-year-old student of UNN, returned home for the semester break. She was known for her natural beauty and her love for hairstyles that made her stand out. When she heard about Glamour Touch, she couldn't resist. "Adiz, abeg, I just want simple Ghana weaving. Nothing too serious." Chiamaka, smiling faintly. "My dear, once you sit in my chair, your beauty will speak for itself. Relax. I will bring out the glow inside you." Adaiz sat, clutching her bag. The seat was soft, almost too soft, as if it was breathing beneath her. The moment Chiamaka began to weave, Adaizi felt a cold breeze sweep through the room even though the windows were closed. The mirrors seemed to darken, and the reflection looking back at her didn't feel like her anymore. Adaizi. "Ma, I dey feel somehow." "My head daylight." Chiamaka, smiling, still weaving. "It's normal, dear. Beauty requires a little sacrifice." Chiamaka began to hum, a slow, ancient tune no one in Umuola had ever heard before. As she hummed, Adizi's vision blurred. The sound seemed to echo inside her skull like whispers. Moments later, everything went black. When she woke up. Hours later, Adiz opened her eyes to see Chiamaka smiling beside her hair perfectly braided, gleaming under the fluorescent light. "Chiamaka, you fell asleep, my dear." "That's a good sign. It means your body accepted the transformation." Adiz, weakly. "Transformation?" She didn't understand what that meant, but she paid and left. Outside, the world felt different. The colors seemed dimmer, and her reflection in the car window didn't shine the way it used to. When she reached home, her mother gasped. "Mama Adiz. Adiz, you look pale." "Are you sick?" Adiz. "No, Mummy. I just feel weak." By nightfall, her headache became unbearable. She dreamt of sitting in that same salon again, only this time her hair wasn't being braided. It was being cut, strand by Chiamaka, who whispered in the dream, "Your beauty now belongs to me." Adais woke up screaming. The curse spreads. Days passed and Adais's life began to crumble. She couldn't focus in school. Her once glowing skin became dull. The boys who used to follow her around suddenly ignored her. Even her grades dropped, and no matter how much she prayed, nothing changed. She wasn't alone. Another woman, Ngozi, who had styled her wedding hair at Glamour Touch, ran mad on her wedding day, screaming, "She's taking it! She's taking it!" before collapsing. Another, Martha, lost her job after 3 years of hard work, claiming that every night she dreamt of someone combing her hair with fire. The whole town became restless. Some said Chiamaka's salon was built on a grave. Others claimed she had made a deal with Mammy Water, exchanging the glories of young women for wealth and eternal beauty. But despite all the rumors, women still lined up at her door every morning. Because beauty, in Umuola, was stronger than fear, the strange prosperity. While others suffered, Chiamaka flourished. She bought a Toyota Camry, then a new house at the edge of town. She started attending church, sitting in the front row, dressed in white with her head high. People respected her, even pastors. She donated chairs, bought uniforms for choir members, and often said, "A woman's hair is her crown, and I'm only helping women shine brighter." But in the dead of night, the people living near her salon claimed they heard faint cries coming from inside, like voices of women begging for mercy. A few even swore they saw shadows moving behind the glass walls long after the salon was locked. Still, nobody dared to question her, because in Umuola, Chiamaka's smile was both a blessing and a curse. And everything changed completely when one girl walked into that salon and never came out again. The disappearance of Kosi shook Umuola like thunder on a quiet night. She was 19, cheerful, loved by everyone, and preparing to travel for her polytechnic admission. That Sunday, she told her mother she was going to Chiamaka's salon. "Kosi, Mummy, once I finish this hair, I'll come back so we can cook jollof for my send-forth." That was the last time anyone saw her alive. By nightfall, when she hadn't returned, Mama Kosi panicked. She went from house to house shouting, "Kosi, ooh! Has anybody seen my daughter? She say she go make hair for Chiamaka place." By midnight, the community gathered at the salon, but it was locked. No sound, no light. A few men forced the door open. Inside was spotless, silent. No trace of Kosi, only the faint smell of burnt oil. The town's fear. By morning, whispers filled the air. "Chiamaka has killed that girl. She uses people's hair for rituals." Women who once went to her salon shaved their heads. Others ran to prayer houses for cleansing. Even Pastor Ize, the town's most respected man of God, couldn't sleep. He dreamt of hair turning into snakes and a woman in white smiling inside fire. Still, Chiamaka's salon opened as usual. She even comforted the grieving mother. "Chiamaka, Mama, take heart. Maybe your daughter ran away with Mama Kosi. God will judge you if you know something. Chiamaka, if I know something, let thunder strike me." But thunder never came. The bike riders' encounter. One night, a bike man named Ifeanyi passed by the salon and saw light flickering inside. He stopped, and what he saw froze him. Chiamaka stood before a mirror that didn't reflect her. It showed faces. Dozens of women's faces, crying silently. She dipped a bundle of hair into a clay pot filled with red oil and whispered, "Your beauty is my strength. Your glory is my light. Forever you belong to me." The mirror glowed red. Behind her, Ifeanyi saw Kosi's reflection, bald, hollow-eyed, mouthing, "Help me." He screamed and ran. By morning, his story spread. He swore, "I saw her talking to mirror." People lay inside that mirror, even Kosi. The police came with Pastor Ize, but everything looked normal. Chiamaka smiled as she braided a customer's hair. "Chiamaka, People will say anything to destroy success. The pastor's confrontation. That evening, Pastor Easy entered Glamour Touch with his Bible. Pastor: Woman, confess what you've been using people's hair for. Chiamaka: Pastor, you're sweating. Sit down. Let me retouch your faith. He ignored her and prayed. Suddenly, the lights flickered, the mirrors rattled, and cold wind filled the salon. His Bible dropped open to, "There is nothing hidden that shall not be revealed." Then came a whisper, "Leave before you regret it." He ran out, never to return. The search for truth. Days later, Adaz, whose life had fallen apart, met Mama Kosi. Adaz: I saw her in my dream again. She was cutting hair, and I think I saw your daughter's face. Mama Kosi: Then we must go there. That night, they sneaked into the salon. The air was heavy, the darkness thick. When Adaz switched on her torch, she froze. From the ceiling hung dozens of wigs, tied with red thread and dripping dark liquid. Beside them, a shrine of mirrors and hair. At the center, a clay pot boiled, without fire. Floating above it was Kosi's necklace. Mama Kosi: That's my daughter's chain. Jesus. Then, from behind them, came Chiamaka's calm, cold voice. Chiamaka: I told you. Beauty always demands a price. A daisy scream echoed through the salon. The mirrors shook and the clay pot hissed like fire. Mama Kosi rushed forward, crying, "Kosi's necklace. That's my daughter's chain." Then came a calm, deadly voice behind them. Chiamaka: You shouldn't have come here. She stepped from the shadows in her white lace, eyes glowing faint gold. Adaizi: You killed her. Chiamaka: Killed? No, dear. I preserved her. Her beauty lives through me. The wigs hanging above began to twist, their braids moving like snakes. A chill swept through the room. Mama Kosi: Please, leave my child alone. Chiamaka: I helped them. They begged to be beautiful, but beauty must feed something, and it feeds me. The mirrors came alive, dozens of women's faces crying for freedom. Their voices rose together. Give us back what you stole. Chiamaka screamed. The room trembled. Then the Bible pastor Ize had dropped days earlier and fell open by itself. A faint light glowed on the verse. There is nothing hidden that shall not be revealed. Adaizi: You may have stolen our glory, but God is still God. She lifted the Bible high. A rush of wind tore through the salon, shattering the mirrors. The trapped faces disappeared in a flash of light. Chiamaka: No, you can't. The clay pot exploded, flames spreading fast. Chiamaka's gown caught fire. She shrieked, half human, half demon. Adaz: Even beauty has an end. With one final scream, Chiamaka vanished into the flames. The entire salon went up in fire as Adaz and Mama Kosi escaped into the night. The aftermath. By morning, Glamour Touch was gone, reduced to ashes. Among the ruins, Pastor Ease found a single comb made of bone, untouched by fire. He buried it behind the church, whispering, Some things are better left underground. That evening, the townspeople gathered to pray. Women wept, touching their heads, asking God to restore what had been taken. For the first time in months, Adaizi's reflection looked alive again. As the choir sang, Mama Kosi heard a gentle voice in the wind. Mummy, I'm free now. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but she smiled. A new beginning. Weeks later, grass covered the burnt ground. People avoided it, saying the soil still whispered at night. Adaz's life blossomed again. She began teaching girls to value inner beauty more than outward shine. Every Sunday, women sang a new hymn. Lord, cover our heads with your glory. But some nights, those who passed the old site swore they heard a faint humming, the same tune Chiamaka once sang as she braided hair. Because evil doesn't die. It waits for those who seek beauty without boundaries.